Well, you will have heard the rumours that Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial are set to ask for a move away from Manchester United in order to get more game time going forward. Is that the right move for either of them, Ian?
I think they should be thinking about that with everything what's happening at Manchester United, and I think with the way that Man United play, I still think that they should be a lot closer to City with the quality they've got, but it's just they've not been able to really express themselves in the way they want to. And then you see someone like Marcus Rashford, he didn't even get to play in that massive game, the derby, local lad, we were just saying. And, you know, he's got to be frustrated with everything what's going on at the moment. So I think that him and his advisors have got to be thinking that, but I can't see it happening. Martial, maybe. You know, you have to say that it's almost fallen off a cliff for him with Mourinho, and you can't see if he had to let one of them go, it'd probably be Martial. But I don't think it's a bad thing that Rashford is thinking that. Who wouldn't take him? Who wouldn't take Rashford?
But isn't it a surprise because Rashford is a Manchester boy, he's a Manchester United fan, he wants to be part of that Manchester United setup.
Exactly.
It's a bigger decision for him, surely, than just a career one. It's a personal and emotional one.
Yeah, of course. And I would... I'd be worried if he didn't want to play. I'd be worried if he wasn't disappointed with not starting. But if, you know, and I'm sure Manchester United, the way they're looking at it as well is he isn't going. Yeah. He isn't going. All right, he might not get the game time he likes, and even if he isn't going to get the game time next year, if there's one or two players going to come in, then he might be able to go on loan. But he'll go on loan to a club we want because he's going to be here for the long haul. He's that good a player. And if he was available, there'd be a queue of clubs waiting to sign him, and the top clubs as well. I believe he's a star. He's going to be one of the top players. Martial, I like him, but he frustrates me. I'm looking at him, he's, please use your pace, go on the outside for once, because he's got all that ability. I just want him to just... and he would probably say, look, he wouldn't publicly say this, but to play for Mourinho, especially wide, is a difficult job. Yeah. He asks a lot of, you know, especially the other way, where wingers want to be going one way.
But do you think that's part of the problem for both of them players? Yeah. They both see themselves as central players.
Yeah. But when they came in, they both came in as central players when they first hit the scene, and he's turned them into that, which is something that if it was me, I'd be absolutely gutted about it. Anyway, I want to be in the middle scoring goals, and I'm sure they both do. You've seen them both. The two goals we just saw there, they were both in the middle, taking great opportunities. Like, he's obviously, Rashford's coming up the left and he's cutting and he's finished it brilliantly. And he's not getting enough opportunities to do that. And as much as you mentioned that he loves Manchester and he's a local lad and everything like that, he's ambitious and he wants to play well. And the mere fact that he might be thinking of having to leave Man United to get some game time, I go with Craig. It's a good thing because I feel that if he has another season where he has to be on the sidelines like he is now and being used as sparingly as he is, what about his progression as an actual player? He could play. I think he could play for anyone at the moment. I think, especially in the top four here, anyone would take him.
You could probably argue too, on some level, from Mourinho's perspective, he's still a young player who's, you know, learning the game and getting comfortable amount of minutes over the course of a season for them to sustain a long career for this type of player. It's just whether that translates into even more appearances next year. That's the guarantee based on, you know, the past with Mourinho's record with Salah and De Bruyne's and Lukaku's. Of, you know, maybe there's an interpretation he's not favouring younger players, but at the same token, no, I think it's up to Rashford. Look, he's a Manchester boy. I can't imagine Manchester United will let him go. But I think that next season he's really, I think, got to be given more opportunity. Yeah. But with Sanchez there, is that going to happen?
But Mourinho is now. Development takes time. He's not interested in development because he's not there for time. He's there for now. So he won't, if like a De Bruyne or Salah, waiting for him to develop, giving him game time, weaning them in and sometimes taking them out, but in the next year, 2 years, they're going to develop. He knows football. He might not see the next year or 2 years. He's ready. He'll go all out next season to try and do something about that league title. So he'll buy for now. Manchester United just need to be a little bit cuter, which I'm sure they are. If you're going to look to bring in a player, I look at a star like Rashford. I don't want to interrupt his development. I want him coming through. So if you're going to bring in a 24, 25-year-old, my concern isn't spend all that money on him. what are we going to do with Rashford?
Griezmann. So when Griezmann comes there, what happens then?
Yeah, but you can also look at it another way and say, look at someone like Harry Kane's development. He was through a loan system in the same phased period, which saw a lot of failures in the build-up to that. Rashford's a one-club man who's been getting into the first team from his teen years, where his body's still developing, in all fairness. You know, you don't know, what that looks like behind the scenes. He's, at the same time, I think, he has been getting progressive numbers of games. I think the disappointing thing is always going to be you play a game like you did at the weekend in the Manchester derby, where you do not want to be humiliated at home, and you don't start a game off the back of being very impressive against Liverpool and scoring goals, prior to that. It is difficult. I can always say that. I will say that as a coach about getting younger players to be patient. It's just how patient, can they be? Because at the same time, he's good enough to start, and he does have the quality to start. Yeah. So
I agree. He needs to start for his development. He needs to be playing. That will kick him on. That's why. And you're right with Kane, but no one's seen Kane becoming the player he was now.
No one.
No, and you couldn't. Not even at Spurs, they thought this was going to happen. And you're right, because of the loan, I played against him during that period as well. I didn't see it. And even when he broke into the first team, I was actually quite surprised. And it took me a good 3-4 months to actually rate him as a player. And then when he took off, he went on to another level. But he got his game time in, he got his experience of playing. Rashford it has to be very careful, because part of his development needs experience, needs to be playing, because then you become more streetwise as well. You understand different movements. You can only get that from playing in games.
You talk about Mourinho being a now manager. Obviously, he's going to have... Now is quite a sort of elastic period of time, but you're looking really to next season now for Manchester United. Yes, they've still got the FA Cup to come. Yeah. But Manchester City, as you would expect, odds-on favourite to win the title. It's Liverpool, and that was before last night's game against Manchester City, who are second favourites. Manchester United third favourites at 7-1. We're hearing these stories about players maybe wanting away, but do Manchester United need another big transfer window in order to challenge seriously for the title next season? Another one?
No, they do, and I'm sure they demand that. But I look at Man City now, and they've just gone out of the Champions League, and they've been brilliant this season. Man City are already preparing for next year. There's already players coming in. So they're going to get stronger, as well as the season. What they've just shown this season was one of the best Premier League seasons we've seen in football. They're going to get stronger again. They're going to look to bring in players, and that's the problem with Manchester United at this present moment. If you have players that are on Man City's radar, as well as Manchester United, if you're the player, who are you going to go to?
Do you think Man United are playing at their full capacity with the players they've got?
No, I don't.
So even in respect to that, and it's one of them where I think that, yes, you could add to it, but surely the style of playing, the players that they've got, Man United could be doing some... I'm tired of saying it. I think that Man United have not...
But if you're a forward as well, and Liverpool come in for you, with Jurgen Klopp and the way he plays, and Manchester United want you as well, who would you choose?
Right now, under Mourinho, I'd go to Klopp.
And that's why I can see Liverpool being second favourites.
Yeah, but you also have to consider the days of just 2 and 3 teams doing that has changed. There's 6 teams now in the Premier League that are vying for the top 2 in particular. Mm-hmm. Manchester United might not even finish second. Tottenham might, the way they finish the season off. I think the difficulty is because based on history, based on past achievements, there's an expectation that there's going to be quick turnarounds. And I think with Mourinho, he's been very clear that it's going to take time to rebuild the squad the way that he wants to. He's done it at Porto, he's done it at Milan, he's done it at Chelsea. For him, he felt it was a big rebuild. I think next season, and where they finish next season, is going to be the real measure of his 3-4 years' work there. And I think it takes as long as that now. With Guardiola, a little bit different. He was afforded even more money. But we're not talking about chomp change here. We're talking about a lot of money being spent. But you also can't buy it. Just like you can't buy Liverpool's maybe club experience to progress in the Champions League. Man City are still developing as a club. They've got a wonderful team, but they still have to develop the accumulative experience.
And I don't think it's, all that said, I think that when you look at Manchester City under Pep, they've got a style of play that we can recognise now.
No, or that you like.
That we like,
That's the difference.
And I think Klopp as well. Klopp has got on with it. You look at Liverpool, you know they're going to play. We knew how they're both going to play tonight. And I look at Man United, and I don't know how they're going to set up to play.
Those clubs have an identity.
Yeah, how long is it going to take for Mourinho
who's going to have
get...
the second best defensive record in the Premier League? Manchester United, and they may finish second. And yeah, obviously on one level you're going to say it's not successful, they're not necessarily competing. Well, no one's competed really with Man City this season. It's just not necessarily likeable. It's not something you want to watch. Yeah. It's a different style of play that may or may not be successful against the type of football I think that's now winning the Premier League. Yeah. That's the real question mark.
No, but for me the big question mark is we're talking about Manchester United. We're talking about one of the biggest football clubs on this planet that have played a certain way and dominated football over a certain period under a manager. OK, that manager's gone, but our identity was the same with Sir Alex Ferguson as it was with Matt Busby. It all goes through the chain. And that, to me, is more important than who the manager is. You've got an identity, you've got to represent that football club the way I believe the football club should be represented. Like Liverpool, like Man City have built an identity. Chelsea have tried to build an identity. They can't hold on to a manager long enough or want to hold on to a manager. But Arsenal have built, but these clubs, your Munich, they have an identity. This is how we play football. This is how we've always played football. We just get better, we evolve, we get better in time. Manchester United, my concern is this is not Manchester United football.
Well, they've gone for short-termism so much. You've seen it post-Ferguson. There's so much pressure and expectation because they're Manchester United. They take a Mourinho, but at the same time you want them to play like a Guardiola brand of football. It's